What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Salesforce stock. In the last year, it is down around 27%, and from its all-time highs, it's down a little bit, probably over 30%. But in the last like 5 or so trading days, it's really started to bounce back off of some of those lows. I think it bottomed at around 164, or the 52-week range was 163.52. So it started to bounce back a little bit, and today I just want to talk about whether I think this is an opportunity or not, where the opportunity might be, where the risks are, and what I'm personally doing with the stock. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name's Sheldon. I make completely transparent videos talking about how I invest in the stock market. And I have been investing for a little bit over 6 years now. This is my portfolio. I have around $136,000 invested in the market. My total profit and loss is about a little bit under 63,000 now. We're almost over 63. It's been a pretty crazy month. If we look at the last month, we've bounced from 47,000 all the way up to 63 as a lot of the market has continued to rally in the last week. If you're paying attention to the market, it's been a pretty crazy start to 2026. But this is all the information on my account. These are the stocks that I own. And if you guys are somebody that, likes to pay attention to the market and wants to learn how to make money with stock market investing, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go on this crazy journey of investing together and all learn about the market. With all that being said, let's hop right into it. I don't want to waste your time, and let's kind of talk about broadly what Salesforce does. So obviously their ticker is CRM, and they are a CRM platform, the world's #1 AI CRM, according to Salesforce. But if you don't know what a CRM is, it stands for Customer Relationship Management. And basically, it's a platform that enterprises and companies use to store all of their customer data, all of their sales data, their deals, their marketing campaigns, their lead lists, their just honestly anything that you can think of that a company might track. Salesforce is an organization and a platform that allows these companies to stay organized so they can ultimately grow their revenue, right? Like, this is the under the hood. Salesforce is behind a lot of different organizations, right? Because they're already so integrated in all of their customers, which is where I think there is a really big opportunity for them. Because they're so integrated, it's hard to kind of leave the platform, which we'll talk about in a little bit when I kind of go over what the risks are and where the fears have kind of pushed the stocks down in the last year or so. But yeah, so essentially they're a CRM, right? And they have built AI models for a lot of different products that they have, like sales, service, marketing, commerce, analytics. They also own Slack. If you know what Slack is, it's essentially like the Discord for the enterprise, the corporate Discord, basically. And so they have a lot of different tools that they've created, right? And so they have basically the different layers of an organization. They've kind of made AI models for that. So they have Data 360, which is that foundational data layer. Every company has, every big company anyway, has tons and tons of data that they store in databases, warehouse, data lakes, whatever. And they try to extract insights from that data, right? And make them into pretty fucking charts for reporting. And so the Data 360 is a platform that helps enterprises do that. They also have Customer 360, which is like more their sales, customer service, customer success, marketing, commerce, all your campaigns that you're running. And they also have Agentforce. So Agentforce is kind of like AI for voice, web, mobile messaging, like generating, messages, like sales outbound messages. If you ever see a chatbot on a website that makes you almost want to kill yourself when you talk to it, that's Agentforce. I personally kind of hate some of that, at least, like, it's not going away though, is what I also will say. It's definitely not going away, and hopefully it only gets better. And whenever I'm trying to get support on a website from a stupid fucking AI chatbot that cannot answer what I want it to, hopefully that gets better. But that's Salesforce, or at least that's part of it, right? Like Agentforce. And they also own, like I said, Slack, which there's a lot of companies use Slack. Like I don't know if anybody out there uses Slack, but I use Slack, and honestly, it's great. I love Slack. So that's a little bit about what they do, right? If we look at some of the financials of the company, like the revenue growth has gone down a little bit in the last couple of years, as you know, just for full year 2022, it was at 24%, 18, 11, 8. So that's going to throw a little bit of downward pressure on the stock, obviously. But you know, we bounced off 8 and now we're at 9.5. So that's not bad. And then like to look at that, I guess a little bit more, on the quarterly basis, like they're at like 22% quarters, like mid 20% quarters, down to like 15%, mid-teens, down to like low double digits, and then they were like single digit quarters for a long time. So that's where a lot of the downward pressure came from onto the stock, right? But also it was fears that it was going to get taken over by other AI platforms. But before we talk about that, I think it's very interesting to note that if we look at the market cap of the company, right, like it's at 100 and call it, I think it's at, like 167 roughly. And it wasn't trading at that until, like, it was the same market cap back in February 1st, 2023. And guys, the revenue has grown a lot since 2023. So even though we're trading at the exact same level in terms of valuation of the company, like the company makes a lot more money than it did last time it was trading at this valuation. Like full year 2023 revenue was 31 billion, and now full year 2026 was 41. So we added $10 billion of revenue, and the company is trading at the exact same valuation. So the multiple that the stock traded at has gone way down. Which the PE ratio is currently, 23 with a forward PE ratio of 13, guys. That's a good looking, like, for at least personally, I view that as a good opportunity to get into the stock. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but if we look at the broader sector that CRM trades in, the average PE ratio is 37. Right, they're the fourth largest company in this sector, and they're trading at a 23, which is like over 10 points below what the average PE ratio is. So it's been shot down into the fucking dirt, this stock, right, in the last year. And I think it has presented an opportunity to get into it. So another risk that has been being talked about with Salesforce is that it's going to get taken over by like your Anthropics and your OpenAIs, because those companies have really gone and grown their customer base. So if we look at this, Anthropic shrugs off VC funding offers valuing at $800 billion. Like the hype behind Anthropic and the hype behind OpenAI is obviously huge. And so people are scared that, you know, with the explosion of like those models, it's going to be hard it might even take some of the market share that Salesforce has. Like I believe this says in February, OpenAI closed a record-breaking $110 billion round that gave $852 billion post-money valuation. Like that's insane, right? Like compared to Salesforce, and like I understand the fears. I just think that, you know, in my opinion, that they're not going to really take over the revenue from Salesforce, because they kind of serve separate segments. Like Salesforce, first of all, the companies that use Salesforce are already massively integrated into the platform, right? Like they have years and years of company and customer and deal data that is already in that platform. And so now all Salesforce has to do is layer on a bit of AI onto that, and now they're an agentic company, right? Like they have these agentic AI workflows because they already are so integrated there. It would be very hard for Claude or OpenAI to replace that. Like, in fact, it's just not, it's not going to happen, right? And anybody out there that has ever used a CRM, you know how big of a job it would be to like replace that. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I think a lot of the fears aren't necessarily correct. I'm okay with it because it's driven the stock down a lot. in the last year, and I think it's presented a very, attractive looking buying opportunity. And if we look at my portfolio, I do own the stock, and this is what my plan is, and here's how I'm thinking about it within my own personal portfolio. So I have my big positions. I have VOO, AMD, Costco, Google, Meta. I didn't necessarily have like a specific SaaS play. Like you can call Palantir maybe a SaaS play, right? But Palantir is already happened. It's kind of done. It's a smaller position in my account now. I took that money, I redistributed it into other positions in the account, and now I'm looking for another one, right? So I was looking for a new stock. I needed something that would be well positioned in my account, in which I didn't necessarily have much exposure to that customer relationship management piece of an organization. Like I have exposure to, the hardware layer of AI. I have exposure to different industries like Costco, and Caterpillar, MDA, like that's a space industry stock. Google, like obviously Google Cloud and cloud computing and another digital advertising play. But CRM is strictly a SaaS kind of enterprise workflow company, which I didn't really have exposure into that. So I liked the fact that it provided a little bit of diversification in the account. I liked the valuation. And it was kind of between this and Adobe. Only time will tell if I should have picked Adobe, but I liked where it was positioned and how it fit into my account. I currently have 27 shares, and my average cost basis is 184. So I have roughly around $5,000 in the stock, which is a massive bet for me. Like a lot of the other companies that I have like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in, they didn't start out with $5,000 in it, and they just kind of grew into those positions. So it's a pretty big bet in my account. And yeah, who knows? I could be wrong, but I love the setup. I love the company. I think they're positioned really well to be the winner of the agentic enterprise companies, right? Like if you look at competitors like HubSpot, it's just not... The way I look at that is kind of like NVIDIA versus AMD. NVIDIA is Salesforce in the CRM world, and AMD is HubSpot. It's going to be number two. Like there's really only like two massive CRM players. There's probably more, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about in terms of Salesforce, what I'm looking at, how I'm thinking about it, the opportunity that I think it has, the risk that I think it has. Obviously I'm a shareholder, so I do believe in it for the long term. I think it'll be in a few years, maybe over a $300 stock. It's been a crazy ride in the last couple weeks in the stock market. If you guys have been investing, let me know in the comments below what you've been doing with your portfolios, the stocks that you've been buying, maybe the stocks you've been selling, and anything that you've been thinking about in the market lately. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, you're an absolute legend. And yeah, let me know if there's any other specific types of stocks that you would want me to create content on or make a video about. And that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.